Prologue. Chichester, 1894. The cathedral was hot and busy, the afternoon service just about to start. Kate slumped into the first free seat at the back, and waited for the dizziness to pass. One of the nearby congregation turned, then another. She could hear them muttering. She glared back. More comments. With rising anger she stood up, holding the pew in front of her and disturbing the gentleman sitting there, who hissed at her. She stumbled off down the aisle past the men in cassocks. She picked up her pace, listening to see if she was followed. The congregation were getting to their feet to sing, and the organ started playing. She passed the young organist, who looked up at her in alarm. She must be a sight. No food for 2 days, just one man and his gin. She made it to the tiny chapel at the end, and sat down. The canon appeared from nowhere. He must have been waiting for her. "Kate, you look lovely." She wanted to shout back at him, but she was confused by his smile. When the anger rose again, and she was about to shout out, he was ready behind her, pulling the cushion back over her face so she made no sound. He was so strong, and her thinking was so foggy, she did not fight it. She tried to scream, but no air came into her lungs. She blacked out, staring up at the painting of the Magdalene. Chapter 1. Jane Dowling looked out of the stationary railway carriage across the green fields, and towards the low hills beyond. It was a warm day in June, and as she glanced up at her carpet bag on the rack she wondered, not for the first time, if she was doing the right thing. More importantly, whether she had brought the right clothes to do it in. When she had started the previous autumn as a private detective in Croydon, little had she realized how difficult it was to get the right wardrobe, one that covered both ends of the job. At one end there was the job of impressing the kind of people who might actually be able to pay for her services, and at the other chasing dubious people down dirty alleys. And here she was traveling on this hot, dusty day to meet a bishop. What was one supposed to wear? At least her boots were clean. Her mother had insisted on that. Somewhere up ahead, there was a great bellowing of steam being released. The carriage shook and rattled, and started shuffling reluctantly forward again. She pulled out her uncle's letter again for reassurance. "Dear Jane, one of the many odd things about my background is that you end up knowing all sorts of people, professors, QCs and so on, as well as the usual dodgy run of criminals, lawyers and politicians. The fact of the matter is that I happen to know the Bishop of Chichester quite well. I met him at Brook's, after the racing at Epsom last week, and he mentioned some problems he is having."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?